Welcome to the Healthy Perspective Podcast with your host, chiropractor, entrepreneur, mentor, and author, Dr. Chris Bowman. He'll break down and extract the secret sauce behind his own success and the success of some of the top leaders in every category and from around the world. Get ready for your weekly mental adjustment because shift is going to happen.
What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining us again on the Healthy Perspective Podcast. We are so blessed to have Whitney Webb with us today. She is a online fitness guru, a mom, a plant-based foodie, entrepreneur, and most of all, a body love advocate leading a rad community to help empower women. Whitney, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to this talk. I think through all the times that we've seen each other, your hair has been a different color. You've been doing something new. And so it's cool to kind of sit you down and be like, okay, so who is Whitney? What type of things, is she into? Who is this, powerhouse of a woman that's influencing so many lives? So I'm happy to talk.
Awesome. Thank you. I'm excited. I love to talk and I love to share. So
perfect. Cool. Well, we always like to have a couple of questions asked that give us a kind of an overarching view and vision of who you are, what you're pushing for, what motivates you, and then flip the coin over and talk about like what's in it for you, like what makes you, happy and continue to be motivated, to do this work. We'll give people an opportunity to connect with you at the end. So the first question I always like to ask is, what is your selfless purpose? Okay, and now this question is geared towards, every successful entrepreneur does things not just for what they can get out of it, but to make a difference in the world. That's the ultimate reason. No matter what car we drive, what house we live in, clothes we wear, we're ultimately doing this to change the world. What's kind of your niche? Maybe go into your story of how you got into, fitness, and then lead into, what's kind of your big mission.
Yeah, that's great. So about 9 years ago, I was doing all the things I thought I needed to do. I had, graduated college, was, bought the home, got married, had the child. Everything seemed to be going really great. I had a great career in the fashion industry, which is what I graduated with. And kind of everything fell apart and fell out from under me, and I couldn't control it. And I just all of a sudden found myself homeless, divorced, like single mama, and didn't know really what to do. And my career wasn't really lining with my goals and what I thought I needed to be as a mom anymore. Things just kind of flipped up onside their head. And I found myself super unhealthy, mentally, physically, emotionally, and just knew I needed a change. I ended up leaving Oregon and moving to California kind of on a whim. I went through a custody battle, had to get custody of my son so I could leave states. That was really emotionally draining. Yeah. It still brings tears to my eyes to think about that time and that person, because she's a lot different than I am now. But she's, I thank her every day because she's the reason I am who I am now. And just remembering those moments, I think, are really important. And so when I started to kind of build back the pieces and moved to California and realized my biggest thing was being a mom and being somebody he could look up to, and realizing I had to take care of myself or I wasn't going to be around for him. Good. I kind of fell into, I went to a going away party for leaving the state. Okay. And one of the girls there looked amazing. And I was like, what are you doing? She just had a baby, but she had the 6-pack. And she was like, oh, I'm doing these online videos or whatever, these DVDs. And I was like, So she kind of, hooked me up with a friend on Facebook. And I got put in this challenge group. And we started, I just started seeing this community and these moms. And it didn't matter if it was 4 a.m. or 10 p.m. They were getting in their 30 minutes and they were sharing recipes and they were feeling really good about themselves. And I fell in love with that community. Yeah. So any of these people, they didn't know my story. They didn't have to know my story. I would just show up and sweat. And I was about 75 pounds over what I weigh now. And so I had horrible eating habits. And just kind of had drank my way through my divorce and my custody battle. And I just didn't feel good. So this was just something that it was this outlet that nobody had to know about except for these, online besties. And So long story short, I just kept doing it and decided I needed to pay it forward, because I kept thinking there's got to be other moms out there that are feeling like me that don't know that there's this outlet. Right. So I got involved and I had no idea what network marketing was, or what, like, if I could even make money off this. I just couldn't keep this to myself. And I felt this just urge and this like fire inside me that I needed to get it out there. Yeah. So I just started sharing, and I was losing weight. So people were asking me what I'm doing. And, I was back on social media after moving, and people were like, why do you look so great? Like, what are you doing? You feel so good. And I just shouted it from the rooftops. I mean, I remember I was talking to people in the grocery store about it. Like, I just couldn't. That's awesome. It was just so fun. Like, I just felt so great, and it was so fun. And I felt like everybody needed it in their lives. Yeah. So fast forward, I started making decent money off of it, and realizing kind of what social media was and how I could connect and help with other people. Yeah. So that's kind of where my purpose felt, is I just I still think this, I still go back to phase one, where I think every night before I go to bed, if I helped one person today realize that they're not alone, one mom that hasn't talked to an adult in days, and like has been spit up or whatever, like, or especially with virtual school, that was such a huge like awakening to parents. And just, I mean, women in general, but I think my biggest person I talk to is a mom, because they don't get it. A lot of times you're just, all of a sudden you wake up and you realize, like, the hell did I do today? Like, it's just a ongoing, it's the biggest job. And if we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of our littles. So that's the biggest thing, is I always think of that mom that was me, that was broken, that needed this community, needed the support, and just needed to live as healthy as possible, while still, maintaining the household and taking care of the kids. It's not, I say I'm plant-based, and I probably am 98% vegan, but I do, have treats here and there. I still do love wine. I eat a little bit of seafood. Like, I'm not 100% strict, because I don't think that's realistic. Yeah. And as far as work, yeah. And that's the same with workouts. Like, if you don't get it in that day, I don't care. Like, show up the next day. If you can only do half because the kid woke up from a nap, like, great. That's 50% more than you probably would have done. So that's kind of how I've just ran my business, and just realized it's real life. And that consistency pays off. So that's my biggest purpose, is paying that forward to other mamas.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, working with a lot of moms, prenatal and postpartum, especially first-time moms, I really see that in a lot of ladies' eyes, especially as they see their bodies getting bigger, and they're not who they were when they got married, or they're not, like, you know what I mean? And there's this almost question in their eyes, like, are people still going to like me? And a lot of it tied to body image, which is superficial, but it affects so many other aspects of, especially a lady's, mindset, where it's like, I have to buy different clothes, I have to shop in this section, or do people want to be friendly? You know what I mean? And these lies and things just start eating at you. And I can't imagine, if that lady didn't look good, you never would have had that conversation, like, where you would be today. And so looking good isn't just about, you and how you feel about yourself, but looking good and being healthy can also influence what other people want, because people are attracted, just like you were, to people that are living life with a victimless mindset, like, living in a way like, I do have power. I do have the capacity to take care of my life. And so having that community is huge. And that, I love that, like I said, working with so many postpartum moms, they're just like lost, throw up everywhere, poop in the car seat, like, just like not talking to other adult humans. And
all of a sudden you're like, what happened?
Right.
Lose yourself. And it's, my job is to help you get that back, but in the balance where you can still.
Right. That's amazing. I love that. And now with that, in mind, that purpose of that younger you, driving, like, how many younger youth can I influence to live, a more powerful, life, a more fulfilling life, a healthier life. What's in it for you? What's your selfish why, that when you look at your watch, or, whatever it is, things that are like, man, I love that I get to help people live healthier, happier lives. And also I love what I get out of it too.
That question's kind of hard for me, just because there's so many things that changed and have changed for the better for me. But I think the biggest is where I'm sitting right now, which is my home.
Mm-hmm.
So before I had lost my house, and never thought in a million years I'd be able to buy another home, especially in Southern California.
Right.
And so just sharing and preaching about living better and just, doing the best I could, failing every day, I was able to buy this home because of what I started. I mean, I left my full-time job. I left, all the career that I thought I needed to have at a college, and just built this business really one day at a time. As I still do every day. So that to me, like every time I look at this house, and just kind of pieces in it and things and like the accolades and stuff behind me, I'm so grateful. And that drives me all the time, because it can be so challenging and hard, and it's hard to help other women. It's exhausting at times. And sometimes, some mornings I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to talk to another human right now. And that's just being real. Like I need a moment. I cannot, I'm whatever it is. And I mean, cause it's a lot. Health and fitness and is more than just physical, like we talked about. And so sometimes there's moms or somebody that's just broken, and I become a counselor. It's exhausting. And I love them and I want to be there for them, but it's a lot. So, when I see my house or see something that I was able to pay for, that I'm able to provide this for my family. We all live here because a choice I made and a decision I made. Right. I mean, forget about it.
That's awesome. And I love that. And, I was talking about my experience, when I drive to work, and I think, because almost every single person that I've had on the podcast, well, I've asked these questions of every person, but almost every person responds with like, how do I answer that? Like, I love what I do so much. Isn't that enough? And yes, to a point, but when there are 3 clients that that maybe they should have lost 10 pounds by now, or maybe, like they should have gotten past, but they're not quite there and they need that extra attention. I have that all the time in my practice. Somebody, it should be free of back pain. Somebody that's headache should have gone away, and they're just that peculiar case where it's just not going away in the expected timeline. It's so important to have that thing where you're like, okay, I know I'm doing this for the greater good. I'm not doing this for material things or experiences or whatever, but actually being in this is what's going to help get me, that extra mile. And I just bought, actually, I think it was just yesterday. I bought a coffee maker from Germany that like just now is available to the United States. Cause I'm one of those like snobs, like I'll hand grind my coffee. I'll do my pour over, but our farm is growing and my responsibilities, we're having our 3rd kid in September. And I'm like, you know what? If I can get up and push a button and have the same, if not better quality coffee, I'm going to be able to spend more time with people. So like having a selfish why isn't necessarily about having extraneous liabilities that you buy just because you have money, but they're upgrades to your life. Like I can't imagine, if you lived in a mobile home without air conditioning, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go work out now. I don't want to, but being able to have a garage that you love, working out, and, all of that stuff, it motivates you to continue to do better,
Yeah. Definitely drives you. I always have a vision board. Every year I make a vision board, and I run a vision board making party online. And that, I mean, I look at mine all the time and see like maybe the pictures of the flooring I want, or what a vacation I want to take my family on, or some fancy bag. I don't know, but it's those things drive me. I mean, they will keep you up at night or get you up early. Like, and that's just everybody wants that stuff. That's the reality of it.
Yeah. And I think it's just the context behind it, where it's not the stuff that makes you happy. It's the stuff that fuels the ability to make stuff happen, which leads to happiness.
Yeah, exactly.
For us, but for everyone around us in the work that we're doing. I love that.
And you think about it, like you probably think about your business when you're in your car. You're like, that got me this, and it's going to keep it going. And I think about that all the time. Like I get to work in this home that I paid for. Like, as I was helping people, like it's crazy.
Right. It's literally built on ladies getting better. Like, what I mean? Like it's so cool to think, of all the different aspects. Like I afforded this home when this lady was able to take her life back and she lost 50 pounds and now she's living her dream job, or, whatever it is. It's like, I like that room. Like, like that's awesome. That's good. So cool. Well, Whitney, thank you so much for joining us. I would love to share how people can connect with you. I understand most of your fitness, nutrition, what you do is online. So where can people find you if they're interested in working with you, knowing more about you? And I also understand that you've recently written a recipe cookbook. So share a little bit about that too.
Yeah. So probably the best place to find me is on Instagram, which is Whitney Jane Webb. And that's my handle. And everything will be there. My website will be linked there. The link to my cookbook, which should be out very soon.
Okay.
It has been a big labor of love. It is all recipes that I have made healthier that are just favorites. Things like nachos or spaghetti, or we have tons of treats in there because I have a huge sweet tooth, and so does my family, my son especially. So it's just things I've made healthier and in a plant-based lifestyle. So you can just add more veggies into your life without just eating a lot of salads.
Right.
It's all about balance, and it's just fun. So that's on there as well. And then I do I can train everybody in France, the UK, Canada, and the US are where all my clients are right now.
Cool.
I run an online virtual camp. I run one on an app, and I run one on Facebook. You can find all the information on my Instagram about those as well. And all of my nutrition plans are on there, and meal plans too. So thank you.
Yeah, sweet. Well, I look forward to having people listen to this, because I think it could be that extra kick in the butt where it's like, all right, I am going to do that. I am going to join that no matter my circumstances, so I think that's huge. Well, thank you so much, Whitney. And we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Healthy Perspective Podcast. To connect with Dr. Bowman, follow him on Instagram @Dr. Chris Bowman. Until next time, make shift happen.